As we've told you, Christine Blasey Ford has agreed to testify this week about her allegation of assault by Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Martha Teichner takes us behind the headlines.
Well, where I'm focused right now is doing everything that we can to make Dr. Ford comfortable.
For Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Republican Charles Grassley, this past week has been all about optics. How to stage manage Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation vote fast before November's midterm elections. But at the same time, to look like the embodiment of sensitivity toward Christine Blasey Ford. Call it Grassley's, no, the entire Judiciary Committee's, Anita Hill problem.
People are asking how we could have let your statements slip past us. How could we have had the committee vote without airing this matter?
Grassley is one of 3 senators still on the committee who were there in 1991 for the spectacle of 14 white men confronting law professor Anita Hill over allegations of sexual harassment against then Supreme Court nominee, now Justice, Clarence Thomas.
Professor Hill, you said that you took it to mean that Judge Thomas wanted to have sex with you, but in fact, he never did ask you to have sex, correct?
No, he did not ask me to have sex. He did continually pressure me to go out with him, continually.
Millions of women voters with long memories were offended.
Are you a scorned woman?
They had no idea how to handle this, and I have to say, I don't think they took it very seriously.
Nina Totenberg, legal affairs correspondent for NPR, broke the Anita Hill story and is covering the replay.
This is an election year, after all. Neither the Republicans nor the Democrats want to look insensitive, but it is a very political proceeding. A great deal of what we see on camera will be and has been role-playing.
In the New York Times last week, Hill wrote that the Senate Judiciary Committee appears to have learned little from the Thomas hearing, much less the more recent Me Too movement. So, can this week's hearing be fair to either Blasey Ford or Judge Kavanaugh?
Confirmation hearings are never fair. It's the nature of the beast. It's pretty raw politics.
To take a man like this and besmirch.
What is this White House afraid of? What is this president afraid of?
We don't want this to be a 3-ring circus.
And I just want to say to the men of this country, just shut up and step up. Do the right thing.
You've watched the fight. You've watched the tactics. But here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has always been a political body, but it hasn't always been a weapon in the wars of polarization, and that's what we're seeing.
Jon Meacham is a Pulitzer Prize-winning biographer and author of The Soul of America.
An essential thing to remember here is that ever since 1962, which was the school prayer decision, the Supreme Court has been at the center of the conservative agenda for power. This was clearly advanced as well by Roe versus Wade. But you didn't have these kind of confirmation battles. You have them now because every seat is seen as a chess piece in the struggle for power.
Republicans remember the defeat of Reagan nominee Robert Bork in 1987, a campaign so ugly that Bork became a verb, meaning to kill someone politically.
It is a president's constitutional right to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and it is the Senate's constitutional right to act as a check on a president and withhold its consent.
Democrats were apoplectic when Senator Mitch McConnell refused for nearly 10 months even to hold hearings on nominee Merrick Garland, running out the clock on the Obama presidency.
You know, ideally, the Senate should be an umpire in American life. The constitutional structure was set up so that they would be the saucer in which the milk cooled. Right now, the Senate isn't doing that.
So where does that leave this week's He Said, She Said, and the vote on Judge Kavanaugh's nomination that will surely follow?
All these interests with an investment in the outcome are more interested in pressing ahead to rush a vote than they are in finding out the truth. And I think that that's one of the reasons a moment like this is going to create even more division in a country that a lot of us thought couldn't be much more divided.